Denovic here again, my fellow wingers, and welcome back to the Inswinger. And today we'll have our UEFA Champions League Final preview, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Alright, so Real Madrid, led by Don Carlo Ancelotti, a man who has won 3 Champions Leagues and number of Champions League as players. So he knows a lot about the competition. So a lot of people would see that as an advantage, along with the old guard who has won a lot of Champions League together as well. So what do we think are the advantages for Real Madrid going into this match? What can be the defining factor for them? Madrid man, can kick us off.
Alright, so the most important thing starts with experience. If you look at the Real Madrid squad, you have at least 7-8 players who have been there, done that. When we had our last run, those 3 successive Champions League titles stretching from 2016 to 2018, you had most of these players, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, that entire midfield, Benzema in the forward lineup, and of course you had players like Carvajal and Nacho at the back who have been there. So I think the experience is a big factor. And I think what helps as well is that for now we have a fully fit squad going into the World Cup. David Alaba returns to training. I'm not sure if he will start, but he actually is training with the full team. So I think that will be also a deciding factor that Carlo now can have options of who to pick from. His system seems to have been working. I mean, if you look throughout the stretch from round of 16 to semi-finals to now in the final, he has actually had a system that has worked. The defining thing is being pragmatic. And if we can, of course, allow Vinicius to have his good game, if the midfield is controlled by our players, and if Vinicius gets that outlet, then of course, he's going to. There's just one thing coming from that, and it's actually service to Benzema. So I hope that Trent can give us that room tomorrow.
Trent can give you a Trent performance.
He can give me a real Trent performance. I'm really counting on that because that's where I see or taking a big advantage in the final.
The experience thing, I think, it kind of level up as majority of Liverpool squad were there when they won the Champions League 2018? 19. Yeah, so kind of level out there.
Well, I guess it's the.
It's just that you have to Madrid man them, yeah.
Some of them 4 times, some of them 3 times.
I mean, to be honest, and no disrespect to Liverpool guys, yeah, we nominated so you can't understand, but they do against Tottenham.
No, but we can't discredit the road that they
took. That is true. But also, let us remember saying, Real Madrid has lost a final in 41, a Champions League final in 41 years. They haven't lost a Champions League final since it has started to be called Champions League. And
7 from 7.
Yeah, they have a very killer mentality. So, honestly, especially with the players that are going to be playing tomorrow, I suspect that Trent will be starting, Roberts will be starting, Madrid's strongest points are the wing. If Thiago starts, I believe that's going to be a loss for Liverpool because I think Casemiro will have his way. Benzema is Benzema this season. So no matter who starts at centre back, I think he'll get the edge. And the forwards of Liverpool for me have always been inconsistent this year. Yeah. In terms of when it comes to Champions League and performing on the big stage, not the league, Champions League, for me, they've been inconsistent because Salah hasn't contributed anything much in the knockout stage. Mane, yeah, he scored, but he will not score too. That I think. Same thing. They've had inconsistent performances.
So how them reach a final?
Honestly, them have days and them show, them days and not show, they can't tell. And that thing with the final, you know if them deal with that deal. So you have to just watch and say Liverpool.
That's a bold play.
Alright, so looking at Madrid, because as a Liverpool fan, and I'm sure most Liverpool fans, if Madrid did play some ball and get to the final, would have much more comfortable going in. But you see aside, now really outplay them opposition, PSG, Chelsea, and City, and get the results, I think that's more terrifying. Where do you think that down to? Like, what give Madrid the mentality or the edge there? What do you think are going on because you must listen?
I think, as I said before, if you look at Carlos, I was watching, for example, the other day an analyst, and he was really and truly saying, if you look at Pep's system, you see a clear, definitive system. You look at Klopp's, clear, definitive. You look at Carlos, it's just pragmatism. I think that's kind of what it all comes down to. It's just a vibe that they build. I mean, you yourself was telling me that during the City game, it was Marcelo and Toni Kroos who Carlo allowed to literally be making the substitutions. Now, when you think of that, that's a bold thing. It's just the man going and saying, all right, I want my players to be in a certain ambience, I want them to be in a certain mindset, and they go out there. And I mean, they know what they're capable of doing. And as I said before, that those 4 Champions League titles that has been won by the vast majority of these players, it counts something. They know who they are. They are Real Madrid, and they know that they can actually get the job done. You just need to go out there and try to have a good game.
Can't tell you, nobody now beat with no vibes. Still
Listen, my opinion is this: you see, vibes can get you to a certain point, but vibes always back.
No have to come good.
No matter what, you see, if alone vibes, always.
Well, I mean, it's not lone vibes that got them to the final. I'm just saying that is a big thing, and I think somewhat I was actually watching. Throughout the entire competition, I'm like, I was the final was being held at the Bernabeu. Because if you look at it, all the comebacks were made at the Bernabeu that kind of contributed to the same vibe and the ambience I was speaking about. But these players, they know what to do to get the job done. It won't be an easy defeat, bro.
But that actually is more scary too, because it's the players they have this belief because of the badge they wear and the white that they're wearing, you know?
That's a big thing.
You see the thing with Madrid? At no point you can't ever feel like them dead. So even if City are the perfect example, you have them down up to 80 much minutes and you feel like man had them in the right place, about 2 goal push and thing. Madrid is a team where you see if you can't have that full concentration for the full 90 and you think say, alright, if you can have a good game 85 out of the 90, be good. The man is alright, we only need that 5 minutes. That's the thing with Madrid. So.
I bet have one.
I don't believe in a vibes thing. I don't believe in a man that raise eyebrow and he hit in and I'm going to score 3 goals per minute. Nah, brother. Well, yeah,
but you can't really think it can't possibly be luck though. You can't have so much time for it in luck.
Too much.
Absolutely. And if you look at the teams
against
that they
them
play,
opposition,
they don't beat those teams.
Yeah, and it has always been a Madrid thing where you get some opponents where you think say, alright, you don't see how they want to get caught. Because even them when you 3 Champions League, when the man them play Bayern, remember the Bayern match, and everybody say, yo, I hate that, you know.
Yeah.
You understand?
Alright, so I guess that's Real Madrid. Come over to Liverpool. Alright, so now Liverpool, that Jurgen Klopp's mentality monsters as he calls them, you know. Decide, known for the comebacks, but Madrid has started to take a page out of Liverpool's book of late, but besides known for the comebacks and who have had recent Champions League success as well, this is their 3rd final in 5 seasons. So, what can work in a Liverpool favour tomorrow? What can be the defining factor? Bendy, what do you have to say?
The defining factor, it was better than Madrid. I think that's just one thing that's going to go in our favour. Like, we've been the best team this year. I will just say that. And I don't think losing the Premier League, and I don't even think we really lost the Premier League. It's not a Premier League.
It wasn't ours to win.
It wasn't ours to win. 14-point differential, Manchester City, kind of really made it closer than it had to be. But I think we were the better team. We are the better team, like for the entire year in terms of consistency. And I think that with a good starting level, which I expect, so you know me, I love telling me starting level. So it's going. The 3 up front is, Diaz, Mane, and Salah. Midfield, I'm expecting Thiago, I'm expecting Henderson, I'm expecting Fabinho. That is very key to my midfield.
Right? Why no Navigator?
Why no Navigator? Because I'm getting this sense that, well, first of all, he's not going to bench Henderson. That is one thing. In his finals, he's proven to play Henderson. As long as Henderson is healthy, he's going to play Henderson in a final moment or in a big game moment because he just believes in the passion.
Don't check out.
You get what I'm saying? So with that, and Thiago has to be the option out of Keita, and I'll take a 75% Thiago than a 100% Keita. So I think Thiago is that difference that's going to be there, because when you take off, if you look at the final game that we played, when Thiago came off, you know, it was a kind of different type of thing. There wasn't that much creativity, that much idea type of ball and that type of thing. But I think Thiago creates that thing in the midfield that we get the best performance out of him. Yeah.
Who partners Van Dijk?
Partners Van Dijk, he's going to go Konate. I believe he's going to go. I believe he's going to go Konate based on the Champions League performances.
So far, yeah, Konate has been his
Club tends to reward people who has been doing well in the cups. In your specific competition,
like a Champions League Final,
yeah.
big man, and
But I still think he's going to go with Konate. If either way, it's fine to me, you know, because I'm competent. I feel like we defenders competent, but. That's the type of thing. A strong 11 is going to be hard to go.
I honestly don't think Thiago is supposed to do a nice starting lineup.
I don't mind.
I think, yeah, I don't mind, but in terms of Liverpool, let me tell you, I think that Thiago is a player that, and it's a very bold statement, has had it easy in the Champions League going forward. He played Inter, Benfica, Villarreal. To me, I don't think the midfield out of any of those three sides actually gave him a challenge. I think that the midfield of Madrid will actually put some pressure on him, especially Casemiro. And I think that him not being fully fit is a risk. And I think that Navigator should start in that game.
True, because Casemiro knowing you're not fully fit, you know, we are playing.
Yeah. And that man knows we have a yellow card. So he might put some tackle on Thiago. And what you don't want to do is base a game plan with that man in mind and then lose him 20, 30 minutes into the game. You don't want another 2018 final with Salah happening again when you lose a key player.
I think Klopp is so much different now in that situation, in that regards of injury management in terms of a star player. Because in 2018 it was so different. But if you look at it now, there's been very much there's been a lot of key games where the player that's doing very well get injured or something's not happening for them. And Klopp, that halftime talk that Klopp has, the start against Villarreal, start against Wolves, that halftime talk what Klopp has is very different from any other manager because they come out and they start playing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the type of thing. So I don't think that we're going to lose Thiago in 30, but even if we lose Thiago in 30, I still think that Klopp has that effectiveness to manage the team now. That was so different from 2018. I think we've learned from 2018, applied it in 2019. And I think 2019 had a bit to do with a bit of luck too, because there's no way Barcelona should have lost that game in terms of where it was, but we were just the better team on the day. But I think in terms of injury management, and if you look at the Barca game, Salah was injured, which is why he did not play. And you look at that, he created a formation and an 11. So I think it's all about what Klopp is going to see what's happening in training and put out the best 11. And I think that's what is going to be the determining factor. He knows how to pick an 11 and have a game plan and work around a game plan if it's not working. If you get what I'm saying. I don't think Ancelotti has that same type of thing. I think he just leans the eyebrow and hopes for the best.
You know, funny enough, I wanted to interject. Funny enough, I heard Bente mention they being the better team. I don't think Carlo has a problem with that. If you look at it, PSG, they would have been dubbed the better team. Real advanced. Who played Chelsea, their system would have been better than our pragmatism. Who played Man City, who, for me, they were the favourites to win the Champions League based on their squad. They had a better team and they played right into Carlo's hands. So yes, I realize that Liverpool has a lot of strength going forward. But I think that adds to what Carlo wants. Like, I don't think they would even mind if Liverpool scores first tomorrow. Just to actually get them in that, ambiance.
One of my Liverpool score first.
If I score first, I know say Henderson passion in the finals can inspire everybody to defend. Trust me. Don't let them go first.
No, Liverpool score first.
Only thing still, Benzema, 2 goals off the record. I think that come on, beast tomorrow.
I don't think he'll break it.
I don't think he's going to break it. I'm not saying he's going to break it, but with that in his mind, and him not admit it, but he want match that because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember, I said all that time in a Ronaldo shadow at Madrid and things. So now Ronaldo get out of the picture. I say, watch me, I'm showing us so we can do it. You see me? So I'm not saying I'm going to break it, but I feel like that's how I'm playing.
There's a lot of history on the game. I mean, I think I don't remember which French person won it in Paris themselves, and they were saying that with Benzema too, it's his time to go in Paris and win the Champions League. There's history there. The last time that Liverpool and Madrid played in Paris, they lost. You get that type of thing. 28 minutes playing in his head. So really and truly, there's a lot of, you look at the different angles of the game. Konate going home to France, he wants to win it in Paris. Revenge 2018, Liverpool, Salah wants to.
And the last time Liverpool lost league by 1 point and went to the Champions League final, they won it.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of history and storyline. I mean, this is a perfect game for Peter Drew. He loves this because him I go do some Shakespeare thing to tell the story.
It had to be him.
Yeah. None other than Mohamed Salah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the history is there. I think it's just going to be a very good game, and it's down to, for Klopp, it's just picking the right 11. For me, for Liverpool, picking the right 11, having the game, and I know the game plan is always good, and we just execute it. It's just about execution.
So, you heard someone mention before, Vinicius versus Trent. How decisive will that matchup be?
Well, I believe that it's not going to be as straightforward as people would think. They say that Trent Alexander-Arnold cannot defend.
It's rubbish.
Let me tell you,
It's rubbish.
he can defend, but I do think that Vinicius is going to give him a very hard time, and it will suppress his attacking prowess. I don't think it's going to be a case where it's going to be a full walkover, but I think that Vinicius will take him back, as in just push him back to a point where he won't be able to create as much, because you have to be thinking about defending more than attacking. If you give Vinicius a space, because he has been as dangerous as Benzema this season, don't give him the space, or you're going to create something and it's going to hurt you. So, while I said Trent is not as bad as people say, Vinicius still has the edge for me.
What I think is this Trent Vinicius thing is not going to go the way you guys think. It's not going to be an event of where you saw Vinicius damaging Joe Cancelo on the right. It wasn't. It's not going to be a case of that. If you guys have looked at the last few performances from Trent, the interceptions and the positioning and the awareness, I think.
Against who?
What I mean.
No,
first of all, the final against Chelsea in the Carabao, Trent. I
wasn't saying I wasn't talking about specific opponents. I'm saying the specific players, because comparing
you say
the profile players Vinicius.
That is fair. That is fair.
Because you using Chelsea, we use 2 number 10s as wingers. Yeah. So.
But I still think that if you look at pace and skill and that, these are professionals. No matter how you take it, these are professionals, and I think. In terms of positioning and awareness and getting yourself there, no matter speed and stuff, we're not talking about the one-on-one, because I don't think, like you were mentioning, it's not going to take away from his attacking ability, because one thing, no matter who the attacker was, Trent still goes forward and our midfielder slots in. It's the system, it just works that way. And I don't think...
Just to interject, Trent being pushed back more can actually benefit Liverpool, because he's somebody who, even if he's pushed back more, he doesn't need to get for the string spots. You can string him from deep.
He can play an early pass.
Yeah. So it can benefit Liverpool same way.
So I don't think like our game plan will change based on Vinicius. It's going to be a good matchup nevertheless. It's one of the most exciting matchups for me, because it can decide the game.
This is Vinicius' first Champions League Final, right?
Yeah.
Against a player playing his third.
Yeah.
So have that.
We can see something where we have all this expectation on Vinicius, and him come tomorrow and
choke.
You see me? So
I mean, in Liverpool's case, seeing what Madrid has done through the competition so far, I think Liverpool aim to go out there and try to put the match to bed early, because I don't think you want it to be a case where they start look over, eyebrows start raised, Rodrigo come on, Camavinga come on, say. We don't know about, it won't necessarily happen to Liverpool, because I think Liverpool definitely has a stronger mentality than City and PSG and decided. But it might be a case where someone might have said, this happened last time, This happened last time, you get me? I say, and then, so, I just feel like if Liverpool come out with their game plan, which they normally do, and normally if Liverpool hit the ground running with their game plan, it normally works out, for the most part. I don't think, to be honest, Liverpool will have much trouble tomorrow, as much as our people will think they'll have. If them go, keep the possession, same way. Work the field, play some diagonal ball as they used to. And we feel like Robertson, if you work the left side and target Carvajal instead. You know about the pressure off the left side. About the pressure Madrid's left. Work Madrid right side. Just like how them are playing to work Trent for Liverpool right. I think we can pressure Carvajal and get some joy down the side. I think Robertson and Diaz or Robertson and Mane have a better working relationship. Surprisingly than Salah.
I also think Mendy are weaker points.
I think Carvajal's side.
No, Carvajal's side would be weaker, but here's what Carlo is going to do. He's going to do a similar lineup that he did against Chelsea. Valverde comes in handy there because on the right side because he gives us that width, a lot of pace, a lot of coverage for the right back. Because to be honest with you, if you play 4-3-3, you're gonna have that entire flank being exposed when if it's Asensio or Rodrigo that start. Even though I don't think they'll go there. But let's say one of those players start for argument's sake, they can't defend. Valverde, he's good going forward, he's good defending. So I think that's a bit of coverage that we'll have.
The reason why I'm suggest this idea because to tell the truth, Trent and Salah are vibes man them too. You see when them man they go down the Liverpool right and something go on like in the moment they say, yo, you got this one, you got this one. We feel like Robertson and Mane especially, they're more drilled. You know how them approach for them attacking play. They move more structured. You get me? I feel like that are our strength most of the time. You get me? I say I was opposed to Trent and Salah vibes thing. You get me? I say so. That's why I feel like the side them are more the side of the target using them man there. Or Diaz too. Because we say Diaz and Robert, Diaz just fit in like he's always been there.
So I think about the midfield battle. With Liverpool having the more mobile midfield over Madrid, you feel like Liverpool actually have the advantage and this is over Madrid.
Once we don't lose the ball over third and in middle at the park, we are right. I think so, but you know, Madrid them pick up the ball.
Even Madrid, Kroos and Casemiro coming through the runs. Them just have moments of brilliance, but then when I see them midfield dominate that game, I know.
You don't want to lose the ball certain places.
Yeah, but it's just
that's one pass they need, you know.
Yeah, that
one pass they
need. Yeah.
It's a class.
Permanent.
The class of them have they just need that moment.
Yeah.
Or a couple. And I think there will be a midfield overload with Valverde if he starts. Because he will look inside and he will create that extra man in the midfield to press or to keep the ball. And to me, the most attacking players for Liverpool are their wing backs. I think their centre mids are just stay the press. And otherwise, Thiago, of course. But as I'm saying, if Thiago starts, I genuinely see Casemiro smiling and say yes. That is exactly what I wanted, and he's going to make the man have a hard time.
Alright, so some predictions. Sit down, what do you have to say?
Feeling like Madrid will make it 2-1.
This stupid or something. Alright. Madrid, man, what do you have to say? Liverpool win.
Obviously, it's going to be a very hard game. I think it's going to be another test for Real. But I think at the end of the day, Real will come out victorious with a 2-1 victory. Yeah. We have to defend.
I just can't bet against Madrid in the Champions League final. That's that. If you come down strictly to football, Liverpool obviously, you see me, but Madrid in the Champions League final, more really stupid if I bet against Madrid.
Just give you score. I don't know.
Well, I agree with your score. Then, but the other way around, I think Liverpool will win this match 2-1. Although a part of me, I feel like Liverpool does have this thing. It'll be a trend for the cups where it might go extra time.
Yeah, it could be 1-0.
Might get to that.
Yeah, might be 1-0.
I feel like it might go 1-0 full time. 2-1 extra time.
Liverpool have missed penalty and then Madrid.
And penalty shootout and anything happen in a shootout. But right now, Liverpool will go out there, play their game, and I think it will finish. I have a budget for a Benz goal. Finish 2-1. but you know, but we think 2-0 possible. But budget for a Benz goal and 2-1. Yeah, brother. What is it?
3-1.
Real?
3-1. Liverpool, easy. Return at the score.
Yeah,
28.
Alright. Here we go now. I believe that it will be Madrid scoring first, Liverpool scoring, one or two things. That'll extra time, Madrid and Nicky extra time, alright, I'll go penalties, 1-1, And I don't know why me dream see it. Me see Trent and miss on penalty. I don't know why me see it. But me see Trent and miss on penalty, man. Imagine how we went after that. So it's either 1-1 full time, 2-1 Madrid extra time. Or 1-1 go straight after extra time penalties. Madrid.
Alright, so there you have it. The Inswingers preview of the UEFA Champions League Final. I hope you enjoyed that one, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Inswinger for more football content. See you soon.